should not have eaten chocolate the first time. Hi, guitar. You terrified me to death. Greetings, my fellow human beings who also like Christmas. Because if you're clicking on this video, you probably like Christmas. I mean, why else would you want to watch me read Christmas romances? Maybe for the pain that I'm going to have. It might be the pain. Okay, so I have 3 books here. I think I might even have more on my shelf, but I have 3 books I picked out for today's video. And the reason that these all are together are, number 1, they're insanely Christmassy covers. Like, look at this. Gingerbread house, Christmas lights in red and green, trees, red, green, snow, and it also says Christmas. So I've been wanting to read most of these books for like a year and a half. I've had this one specifically for like a year. I wanted to read it last year and I just didn't get to it, and I've been wanting to read it ever since. I'm probably gonna read this one first. This one is called A Gingerbread Romance, and it's based on the Hallmark Channel original movie, and it's written by Lacey Baker. Which, number 1, Lacey Baker for A Gingerbread Romance, that's a perfect name. Perfect name. This is already perfect to me. It's a beautiful book. Let's read the back of this book. I don't feel bad about reading the back of this book. I already ruined it for myself just by reading the title. I know exactly what this is gonna be about. I can even tell you without reading the back of the book. Here, I will tell you the plot. I think I read a little bit, so I know it's a single dad and he's a baker, and she goes back to the small town after her, you know, her big job in the city, and he's a single dad and he has 2 children, and then they fall in love and she has to save the baker using her business skills. I'm betting. Let me read this. Okay. Oh, I missed something. Okay. He's a baker and a single dad. She's a jet-setting, is that really jet? Jet-setting architect. Can they make each other's Christmas dreams come true? I was really close. Okay. Taylor's architectural firm enters her into a contest in which the teams will design and build life-size gingerbread houses. If she wins, Taylor will likely get a promotion and move from Philadelphia to Paris. That's a really big jump. But the competition steals Taylor's original teammate and she needs to find a replacement fast. When she meets Adam, a baker and a single dad, she convinces him to partner with her for the contest. After all, winning would give his designs much needed exposure and maybe even help him achieve his dream of opening a bakery of his own. Okay, so he wasn't a baker already. This is already surprising me with the plot. Honestly, for years Taylor has resisted calling anywhere home, but that she's gonna call her gingerbread house home, obviously. But the more time she spends with Adam and his daughter Brooke, the more she appreciates the traditions of Christmas and the more she longs for a place to call her own. Aww, this is gonna be so fun to read. Let's go. I read that so wrong. I thought it said, "Thank you," she said. Even bone-tired, she managed to smile and bow. And I was like, what time period is this? But then the next sentence says, "with a half bow and a tip of a Santa Claus hat." So I was mixing the 2 together. It didn't happen in that one. But that'd be so funny where if it's like a society where the bare minimum is to smile and bow. That is just making me smile, because girls don't normally bow, right? So if it was a society where girls had to bow. I don't know why that got my funny bone. Maybe because I'm already like suspending my disbelief so much that I was like, oh sure, yeah, that could happen. It's a Hallmark book. I just started reading this and I was like, you know, it would be so fun to watch the movie after this. I bet I could still find it somewhere. This is like 2019 book. Yeah, this is 2019 that the book was written. So the movie was probably around then. So I could definitely find the movie somewhere. And I want to see if like all this internal dialogue that they're adding to the character actually is like evident in the movie. Because normally they're not that deep, you know? And they're trying to like add this internal angst. And I'm like, I'm 90% sure this character does not have the angst that this has in the movie. Because this is the movie novelization. This is so funny. This is the perfect opening Christmas book. There's a big sticker on the back of this book. This book was $13 originally. That's way too much. Hi people, so my heater's on, so it's gonna make a little bit of noise, but it has to be on because I am feeling sick if you can't hear it in my voice. I woke up this morning and I was like, I kind of feel a little bit sick. And then I was like getting through work and I was like, maybe I'm like allergic to something. And then I got home and I took a shower and I was like, no, I'm completely sick. I thought it was a sore throat for a second, but no, it's just like a sinus something going on. So my heater's on, I have my blanket on because I'm cold and tired and sick. Okay, I'm almost done with this book. I think I have like 20 pages left. And I have to say, I was all fine with this book until like the last couple pages. pages, because one character I was like, okay, I understand her motivations, I know why this is going on, and it hasn't had like too grievous of like non-communication in it, so I'm like, okay, that's fine. I didn't like hate the characters. I understood. It's literally a Hallmark Christmas movie, so I wasn't like, I didn't have huge high expectations for it. But at the end, this character has made a decision that makes no sense for his character. Like, I don't understand why he's making this decision, because he turned down one thing that I was like, okay, I understand, but then this thing, I'm like, why do you want this? Like, it doesn't really make any sense logically. And then also, part of this book is they're making, not part of, like the entire plot of this book is they're making a gingerbread house, like a life-size gingerbread house. And so the girl who's an architect has to, you know, get the guy who is a baker to come help her make this gingerbread house. They say that the house has to be 80% edible and 20% has building materials. And so I know that they made like a skeleton of a house with wood and stuff, but in my brain I cannot understand how they're doing this. It's making no sense to me, because they're using piping with the gingerbread on wood, or is it plywood? Like, I don't know how they're making this thing stay, and I don't know how they're judging in the house whether it's like 80% house, 20% that. Like, I don't know what the measurements are. I know it's a Hallmark Christmas movie, so it's not that well thought out, but they told me that this is a part of it, so it's been in my brain the whole time. I also have no size comparison, because they say they're making a life-size house, but surely they're not making like a 4-bedroom 2 house. It has to be like a cottage, right? It's just like big enough to walk inside, I'm guessing, is like the only thing. But like, they're the ones making like a traditional house, or like a regular house looking thing, and all the other ones said that they made like this and this and this and this and this, and I'm like, what? Like, how is this happening with gingerbread? Like, because with the normal gingerbread house that you make, it's like pre-shaped, and then you have the holes for the windows cut out, and then you just fix those 4 pieces of gingerbread together with the roof, and sometimes it slides off, but it's fine. But with like a life-size house, you have to make like slabs of gingerbread and use those as bricks. But if you have wood, you need wood to like hold the, I can't understand logistically how this is being held together. And so now I need to watch the movie because I'm so confused. Like, I looked up the movie too, and apparently halfway through the book I figured out that the main character, little girl, because it's a single dad with a daughter, I figured out that the daughter, they're like African American apparently. I didn't know this because I'm so bad at books at like picking up the character, what they look like. I kind of just skim over any defining characteristics, and I make up like my own description of what the character looks like in my brain. And so in my brain, the main character girl was like a brunette girl. Basically, like, if you look at the covers of Hallmark movies, I was thinking of like that brunette girl that plays in a lot of them. And then I was thinking of, I just watched a new CoffeeZilla video with a romance scammer who was scamming as a Hallmark guy, like a guy who's in a lot of Hallmark movies. And so in my brain, I was picturing that Hallmark movie guy as the protagonist. So maybe they said that he was African American somewhere, but I just didn't pick that up. And then I looked up like the movie promotional pictures because I was trying to figure out if they like showed what the life-size gingerbread house looked like, because I was so confused. I had no idea what it looked like. And apparently the main character girl is also African American. All the people in this book that I thought were a different race are a different race. So now in my brain, it's all confusing. I'm so confused. I should have waited until the end of the book to look up stuff, because now I'm just so confused about what these characters look like. And so because I looked at the characters, it's like a glitch where I'll think one character and see the other character in my brain, because I have really bad time like visualizing characters in my brain. And so whatever random things my brain decides is a character is the character. I don't like see a face, I just see like a collection of attributes. My brain is so weird when it comes to visualizing things. I have a sticker on my finger, by the way. I picked it off the back of my book. Anyway, I'm having a full-on, I'm also sick, so I'm like probably a little bit feverish. So this is a literal fever dream for me right now. It is a gingerbread fever dream. Oh my goodness. It is so cold. Oh, my hair is insane. Okay. Hi people. It's just a little bit while later. I finished this book. It really jumped the shark at the end there. I should say it jumped the gingerbread mistletoe cottage at the end there. It just, I love Hallmark movies. They're amazing. Anyway, I'm trying to decide what to rate this because I have to rate it on a scale of holiday romances. So in a scale of holiday romances, what do I rate this? It's literally just a Hallmark movie, so it's not fantastic. It's like what I wanted to read at the moment, you know? So it's like a little bit more than a 3-star, not quite a 4-star, so it's like 3.5, 3.75 maybe, which funnily enough, I think is exactly what I rated War and Peace. So take that as you will. Now, this is a fun book. I'm gonna watch the movie now. I need to know what that gingerbread house looks like. I am so confused. So confused. Okay, so last night I told you I finished a gingerbread romance, and then I went to tell you about the books that I was going to read next, but I was sick, and I look obviously sick in that clip. I mean, I'm sick now, but I'm not as obviously sick as I was in that clip, so we're gonna redo that. The next book I picked up, which I haven't started reading yet, but I put my bookmark in, so it's the next one I'm gonna read, is an improvised, I thought it said improved, an improved boyfriend for Christmas, an improvised boyfriend for Christmas by J.L. Hickson. And in my exploration of this book, apparently it is self-published, and there's also a second book, maybe 3 in the series, which I think is so funny. So the back of the book says, Hazel might be falling for the boy next door, and the timing couldn't be worse because she just hired a fake boyfriend. Hazel grew up with a flaky mom, a bunch of different dads, and a whole lot of baggage. She's avoided romantic love like it's old fruitcake, so despite overseeing countless epic romances as a professional stage manager, Hazel doesn't know what it feels like to be in love. Now her grandma is dying, and all the sweet old woman wants is for her granddaughters to be in caring, stable relationships. Hazel would do anything to make sure her grandma's last Christmas is perfect. Cue the fake boyfriend. Anyway, this just sounds so funny. But I wanted to give you a little update on A Gingerbread Romance because I told you that I looked up the movie and stuff, and looking at the picture of the faces specifically for the main character threw me off because that is not how I pictured her main character. But I started watching the movie because it was like free with my Amazon Prime subscription, free trial with a free trial of Hallmark Plus. So it's like a bunch of loopholes I had to go through to get this, and I need to remember to cancel my Hallmark channel free thing because I don't want to be charged $8. I don't want to pay $8 for Hallmark. Anyway, I watched about half of it this morning, and oh my goodness, I thought the book was pretty bad. Like, it was fine. It was fine as like romances go. It was fine. But in the Hallmark movie, it's bad as Hallmark movies go. Like other Hallmark movies I've seen, they have like better, deeper like character growth, and the lighting is better. The sound is kind of weird in this one. Like it looks like the voices aren't really coming from the faces. Like it's not their real voice. It is so bizarre. And the child actor they have for the little girl is fine, but she's not directed very well. Like you can tell she's doing a really good job, but if she was directed a little bit better, she could be more convincing. And it's like, oh, poor little girl, you're doing so good. But I was watching this, and it seems that how I was imagining the gingerbread house going is basically exactly how it's going. So now I'm just confused. Like, they're just gonna CGI something fake, right? Like, they're gonna make a cardboard gingerbread house and say that this is real gingerbread. Like, I'm betting that's what's gonna happen. I have no idea how they're gonna make this work. No idea. And also in like the shot where they're all setting up all the different like gingerbread house, like wooden frames, all the different teams are doing it. They're all putting up the same frame. I'm pretty sure they just reused the same frame 4 times over. It's the same frame for all of them. But also all of the character development and like getting to know the characters in the book is not happening at all in the movie. Like there was one scene that I was pretty sure wasn't in the movie because normally they don't do like flash forwards with the child actor at the beginning, but they did actually do that, which is not a spoiler because it's literally the first chapter of the book and the first scene of the movie. But I'm so curious about the epilogue because the epilogue felt like something the author put at the end to make the book have a better resolution. The epilogue is what is jumping the shark. So I'm like 90% sure that is not in the movie, but if it is in the movie, I'm gonna laugh so hard because the epilogue was hilariously bad and I loved it. Anyway, I'm gonna finish watching that movie and give you an update and then also start reading this one. Alright guys, I told you I was watching a gingerbread romance movie. I have to give you the review on a gingerbread romance movie. I was watching it and literally right after the last clip that I took, I saw the part with like the gingerbread house and I gasped laughing. It was so funny. So funny. I will insert here on the screen. This is what it looked like. This is what the house looked like. Tell me that's not cardboard. That is not gingerbread. Anyway, that made me laugh. And then also the epilogue, which jumped the mistletoe or Christmas tree reindeer, is not in the movie. The epilogue was totally in the book, which I thought it was because the Hallmark movies always end with a kiss and it went past the kiss. So I was like, Anyway, it was very funny and I loved it. Okay, I was gonna give you like a reading vlog, like reading clips where I read this book, but I ended up reading The Improvised Boyfriend for Christmas by R.L. Hickson and An Unexpected Boyfriend for Christmas by Jeanette Rallison. Literally back to back yesterday because I was sick and dying, so I just read them and I didn't give you updates because no one wanted to hear my voice yesterday. It was not good. It's kind of bad today, but it was worse yesterday. This book was actually wonderful. I think I ended up reading this one and The Unexpected Boyfriend for Christmas, both 4 stars. And apparently these were both written as part of like an interconnected universe where a different author writes the story of each of the sisters. So kind of the idea of this book, as I told you, was she enlists actors to pretend to be boyfriends for her sisters because her grandma's dying and her grandma's dying wish is that her granddaughters be happy. And so it's this whole thing. And going into this, I wasn't sure whether this was going to be like a decent, good book or just a fun romance book. And it kind of ended up being in the middle. Like I actually kind of liked it as a story. There was things in both of the books, like this book and The Unexpected Boyfriend for Christmas, that both kind of was like, like towards the end kind of fell off for both of me, but I liked both of them for good reasons. So this one, like, I liked the ending better than in this one, but I liked, I think, the beginning of An Unexpected for Christmas better than this beginning. So it was like different things, because the thing is, I love Jeanette Rallison, like her writing. I've read so many of her books and I really like her books. I didn't know she had written in this series. And the third book also isn't out because there's supposed to be 3 sisters. And as far as I can find, if there's a third book, please tell me because I want to read it. I was looking for it and I couldn't find it. Like the author who's supposed to do the third book hasn't done it as far as I can tell. And I think these came out like a couple years ago. So maybe she's just like waiting to bring it out. Yeah, this is 2022. So maybe she's just been waiting to bring it out. Maybe it's coming out soon. I have no idea. I can't really tell you the plot of An Unexpected Boyfriend for Christmas because it's technically the second in the series, but they happen at the same time. So if I tell you stuff that happens in that book, it happens later in the timeline than this book, because this one starts earlier and that one starts like in the middle of this book. So I don't want to like tell you what happened, but I did like An Unexpected Boyfriend for Christmas better. That one does have a lot of lust in it for some reason though. It's done decently and neither of them have swearing or anything like that. Unexpected Boyfriend was fun, but I'm not quite sure how I feel about that one overall. That's why they're both 4 stars. I liked them, but I didn't like love them. All right, for this video, we have one book left. We have Across Country Christmas by Lori Lewis. This book, I do have an audiobook, so I might end up listening to it while I'm doing random tasks around my house tomorrow, or I'll read it physically. I don't know, we'll decide. Let's read the back of this one, shall we? When C.C. Cipollini is offered a temp job driving a custom car across the country, she leaps at the chance to leave Chicago, put her past in the rearview mirror, and make a fresh start. But one car crash and a broken cattle fence later, C.C. ends up at the home of a ruggedly handsome rancher, Reese Brockbank. That's a name. These names are very interesting. Reese doesn't hesitate to rescue the reckless woman who has crashed into his life, but when the circumstances require him to put Cece up in his house for a few days, he vows to remain aloof. A woman already derailed his life once. As Cece's warmth and childlike love of Christmas turned his beautiful but sterile house into a home, however she wears down his defenses, still something in her story doesn't quite add up, and Reese's questions soon cause Cece to retreat. This feels like it's telling me literally the entire plot of the book. Anyway, the pain of their past has brought them to this moment, but will they seize it or put the possibility of love in jeopardy? Oh no. This sounds so funny. I love books that are just like the most stereotypically Hallmark book ever, as you can see by me literally reading a Hallmark Christmas movie as a book. Okay, I'm trying to find this. Apparently the pages have plaid on the top of them, which I think is really funny because the spine is also kind of plaid. That's really funny. Anyway, let's read this one and see how this one goes. The cover, I'm also like, I don't know how I feel about it because it looks like so sterile, you know? But then it has this like one yellow tinge here, and I can't tell if that's like on purpose or like yellowing of my book because it's old. I don't know, it just feels so sterile and I don't know how I feel about it. Anyway, this is gonna be fun to read. I'm having so much fun with this video, guys. I love dumb romances. It's like my favorite genre. That is like 5 hours. It was saying in this that my son invited me to go on a long drive with him from Salt Lake County to St. George. That's like a piece of cake for me personally, but I don't mind driving, so. How tall is this girl? She's 127 pounds. She would have to be at like 5'2", maybe. That's like not a lot. That's like how much I weighed when I was in like 7th grade. Cowboy. I don't know why it makes me laugh every single time there's something that's like slightly cliche. Like a lot of the time it's cliche because it's good, but it's just funny. Okay guys, I listened to about half of Across Country Christmas while I was at work today. Okay, I'm about 114 pages through, so yeah, pretty much exactly halfway through right now. And as I was listening to this, it was so funny because I read the first couple chapters. I showed you, I read the first couple, not even chapters, it was like the first couple pages from the book, and I was like, interesting, this would be kind of good. And then as I was listening to it, it felt like the author had like this really interesting story, and then she was just like, then let's do this, and this, and this, and this. And it feels like she has the problem, not the problem. I haven't written I have not written a book, so I can't really say nothing, but it feels like she's throwing a lot of unnecessary details in that don't really need to be in the book. And so the first part of the book is her explaining to the audience through her male main character's voice why you shouldn't do this certain thing with the Tesla. And it's so funny because as I was reading it, I was just like, well, maybe it's gonna be really important that he knows a lot about cars. Nope. It's not important that the main male character knows a lot about cars, at least so far. And let me tell you, we're halfway through. When we were like 2 hours into the audiobook, I was like, okay, I do not know what in the world we could do next. And as it kept going, I'm like, okay, I guess there's more of the story to tell. But like, I didn't see this coming. It didn't seem like this book had a plot. It does, like obviously it does, but it has a little bit too much like random stuff thrown in. And I feel like the main characters are talking and understanding each other and have kissed way too soon. Like, it doesn't really make sense in my brain for a romance book for them to kiss. It's like they kiss like a third of the way through the book, and now they're half the way through the book and they're kissing and talking about like a full-blown relationship. So is the rest of the book just like talking about their pasts and fully making it so they become reconciled with their families or their past or whatever? Like, I don't understand. I'm kind of confused, but a lot of the phrases and stuff have been so funny. I was laughing, almost laughing out loud while I was at work today. I resisted, but it was so funny. I have to see if I can find one. She gets pine sap on her fingers, and so they make like a remedy to get it off of her fingers. And he starts like putting it onto her hands. His touch was strong yet gentle as he massaged the scrub into her hands in steady circular patterns. She began to feel as gooey as the paste. "You're very good at this," she said. Like, just a little bit doesn't seem super funny, but as I'm like kind of getting into the book, like I'm slowly being like, oh yeah, this is a decent book. So I'm getting interested, and then there'll just be like this really silly line to me. It'll throw me out of the book and I won't be like entranced with the story anymore. So I got to the point where I was kind of like, oh, okay. And it might be just like the audiobook reader, because she does a different accent for each person, because they make a big deal about like each character is kind of from a different place, and so each character kind of has a different accent. And there's one guy that has a Spanish accent, but not like a Hispanic accent, like a Spanish accent. And so he's saying like, oh, we go do this, dude. When we go do this also, dude. You're doing so good at this, dude. And it's so funny, just the dude with this Spanish accent. I can't. It's so funny. And then all the characters are just explaining their life stories with little to no prodding, and I'm just like, this wouldn't happen in real life. Luckily, it's not just like bam bam bam, like she's integrating it a little bit better. So this is like middle of the road kind of a book for me, where it's like decent writing, but it's not like nothing I'm gonna write home about, you know. But I'll tell you about it because it's part of the video, I guess. We're going down to the ground. There's no better place to go. We've got some there's stuff underneath this, and I just sat down really hard, and that was a little bit painful. This is a reading video, so I shouldn't be talking in this clip, but I love my sweater. Okay. Listening to blue like I never known. Holding her together was a challenge. She found his business card and her purse would be so easy to call and thinking for his gift. What more could she say? Died that day. Okay, people, so I am about 200-ish pages into this book. I think I have maybe 30 left. I have 40 pages left. Okay, that's not a ton. I was listening to this at work today, and guys, I was having to keep myself from laughing out loud and mocking the book every single sentence, because the thing about this book is the plot is pretty decent, actually. Like, I'm enjoying the plot. It's a little cliched, but like, it's fine. Like, I'm enjoying the plot. It's fine. But the words, oh my goodness, guys, I can't handle the way that it's written, because some scenes are written really well, and then it'll just hit me with this just overly descriptive sentence. I'll have to explain this to you, okay? Because it really hasn't been egregious until they were just like sitting by themselves, falling in love, talking, and there was literally, I'm not even exaggerating, about 5 scenes in a row where they go do something, come back and talk on the couch, go do something, come back and talk on the couch, go do something, come back and talk on the couch, and at the end of every talk on the couch, they kiss until they're like, oh my goodness, we can't kiss anymore, we're getting too passionate, and then they go to bed. That is literally what happened for 5 straight scenes in a row, and it was driving me crazy. Like, she kind of mixed it up a little bit with like the times they were on the couch and the things we're doing in between, but it was the same exact thing. That's all I listened to at work today. It was just talk, couch, kiss, talk, couch, kiss, thing, talk, couch, kiss. Driving me crazy. The plot itself is pretty fine. The writing is getting a little bit annoying. It's in that like overly descriptive, almost floral language that just feels tiring to listen to. You're like, okay, all right, I get that they like each other. You don't have to describe her eyes for the 17th time. Anyway, but it is okay. I'm just being more critical than I need to be because I think it's kind of fun to read these and then make fun of them, which probably is not the way I should be engaging with them, but it is half of my hobbies around Christmas time. Watching bad Christmas movies and reading poorly written Christmas books with trivial plots and then talking about my experiences with them because it just makes me laugh, and that makes me laugh, and my hair's not staying behind my ears. But then I also don't like it when it's behind my ears. It is a whole thing. Anyway, yeah, that's my reading experience so far. I'll let you know when I'm done what I think my rating is. What my rating is when I'm done. But so far, it's been a fun reading experience, even though it's not the best written book in the world. Is such a dumb plotline. Like, beyond anything, such a dumb plotline. Why? Hello people, I just finished reading Cross Country Christmas by Lori Lewis. Guys, she used the word anemic so many times when none of the characters, to my knowledge, were anemic, and that is a little confusing to me. She'd use it as like an anemic smile or an anemic gesture. I think she was meaning like a lifeless gesture and didn't want to use lifeless, but it just felt so out of place. It was at least 3 times she used it. Enough that I recognized that it was used multiple times in a way that didn't really make sense. But besides that, the story was fine. It was fun. I think I'm gonna rate it like 3 stars, maybe 3.25. It was fine. The story was fine. It was interesting. The writing kind of got on my nerves, but it was okay. For a Christmas book, this was totally fine and wonderful. The funny thing is I kind of felt connected to the characters every once in a while. Like, it would kind of slip in, like, oh, I care about this character. And then something like funny would happen in the dialogue that just felt so off. And then I just start laughing and then I'd lose that connection again. So it was fun. It was a fun book. I wouldn't recommend it as like a hugely wild, crazy book, but it was fun to read, I guess. So anyway, that's Cross Country Christmas for y'all. So in this video, I ended up reading, I guess, 4 books, since I don't own the 4th one. 4 fun Christmassy romances I read. I think I rated Gingerbread Romance. This was 3.75. These 2, An Improvised Boyfriend for Christmas and An Unexpected Boyfriend for Christmas, were both 4 stars. And then this one's probably 3 to 3.25 stars. I'll probably decide a little bit later. But this was a very fun reading video. They definitely all did put me in the Christmas spirit. As I was reading them, I'd kind of read them and be like, oh, it's like Christmas time. Fun, it's not Christmas time here. And then be like, wait, no, it is Christmas time here. It actually is. That's why I'm reading these books. So they did help me get back in the Christmas spirit. Anyway, thank you for joining me for Consider the Following. No, thank you for joining me for reading Christmassy books, and I will see you in the next video tomorrow. Merry Bookmas.